Galnet News Digest, 17th of September 3305. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, Pilots Federation in cash for flight time scandal. Good news for Coeliac commanders. Space 2024. Pilots Federation in cash for flight time scandal. Commanders will receive bribes to keep flying, according to data leaked this week, with the Thargoids apparently defeated and no community goals or interstellar initiatives. Many pilots have been abandoning the cockpit to play space games such as Norman Skis and the forthcoming space epic Stellar Citizen instead. The Pilots Federation is responding in two ways. Firstly, by introducing an improved induction and training program, and secondly, by making backhander payments to its members in return for their continued cooperation. The payments, called ARCs, are in the form of credit towards various cosmetic items such as paint jobs and decals, and there is no cash equivalent. Seen by some as an act of desperation to prevent the depopulation of the bubble, the Pilots Federation apparently sees it as a nice way to reward its members for their actions. There's a strict limit of 400 free ARCs per commander per week, but top-ups are available in exchange for local currency. The Pilots Federation has been unable to add up how many ARCs you get for a given number of credits, so they're offering strange bundles such as 85,000 plus 15,000 ARCs, which really means 100,000 ARCs. The Pilots Federation may be obscuring the true number of ARCs in case commanders realise that they don't have to pay to get 100,000 ARCs at all. All they need to do is work for the Pilots Federation for 250 weeks or 4 3/4 years. And that will be enough to buy one paint job for your fleet carrier. Good news for Coeliac commanders. Pilots may not have to worry about food intolerance much longer, according to research by the Interstellar Association for Agriculture, which has discovered that galactic supplies of foodstuffs are at an historically low level, making starvation a far more likely outcome. Problems sourcing delicacies for the Alliance Festival of Culture brought the poor harvests in Diso and Arerve to the IAA's attention, but further investigation has shown that crop yields are dramatically down throughout the galaxy. Despite the theoretical production of the more than 2,000 agricultural systems in the bubble being enough to feed the entire human population, the Thargoid invasion force, and any Guardians we can find hiding in the ruins many times over, authorities are sufficiently alarmed at the actual production levels that they've appointed a committee to look into it. One option under consideration is a series of synthetic treatments that may bring harvest levels back to an acceptable level. But as no one knows what the cause is yet, the IAA may be getting just a little bit ahead of itself. Space 2024. We don't often stop to remember the pioneers of space travel, the days before supercruise, the days when it took 4 days rather than 4 minutes to travel between the Earth and the Moon. The first moon landings in the 20th century were a toe dipped into cold bathwater, quickly withdrawn. There was a gap of more than 50 years between the first moon landings and the first permanent base on the moon. It was 1,281 years ago, in 2024, that the very first moon base, Artemis, was founded. It was at this time that the system of low and high orbit space stations was established round Earth and, not many years later, above Mars, as the colonising drive continued. Although the low stations are no longer required, the successors to the original high stations, Li Qingzhou, Mikhail Gorbachev, Abraham Lincoln and Mars High, are still the primary gateways to Earth and Mars. But the significance of 2024 is that this was the last year in the history of humanity that every human alive was on or near the planet Earth. Although there was a continuous presence in low Earth orbit from the very start of the 21st century, the first self-sustaining settlement on the Moon was perhaps the greatest milestone in human development. If the reason the dinosaurs died out was that they didn't build space rockets, the year 2024 was the year humanity finally surpassed the legacy of the dinosaurs. And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News, we read the news so you don't have to.